Time to get serious with Mega March.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mega March. Oops All X's is back at it with what I used to call the Gaea armor, because I don't know how English works.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only person who had trouble with this one.
Well, I knew the word Gaea, but it was spelled. Yeah, it's spelled different than what I was used to reading, but we have the Gaea armor from Mega Man X5.
I used to say Gaea armor, like the Gaea armor. Like I used to say it like that for some reason, which I don't know why.
That's better than Gaea.
Gaea. I mean, I'm just trying to pronounce each of the vowels. It was just a mess. I've never seen 3 vowels back to back that way before.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're talking about this chunky boy.
Yeah, look at this tank monster.
Oh my god, he's so chunky. He's like a castle if he could move.
Well, I want to go ahead and point out probably my favorite part of the armor is that it looks like armor put on top of his normal armor, like especially the Buster. Like you see his regular Buster in there. You know, it's just there's crap wrapped around it.
Sticking out.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. It adds the idea of reinforcement to it, and it's got those little studs all over it.
Yeah, it's like riveted onto him.
Yeah, it's really neat, and the triple helmet crest thingy, I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I always liked this armor. For the helmet was always really cool looking to me. I really like the thick padded nature of it. It's very plated and just very chunky.
This is X with cornrows.
Cornrows.
Look at it and tell me it's not.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not gonna have this discussion. Cornrows. Oh, I guess you got me. You know what it made me think of? Was the first armor with the yellow ridges that go along the head. It made me think back to those. Is what it made me think of personally. But like a beefier version.
Looks like a more industrial version of that.
Right. Yeah, this is like steampunk Mega Man right here. He's very like thick. He's built like he's made out of iron that's just been riveted into place. You know, he looks like a turn of the century like cruise liner or something. You know what I mean? Like he's just iron and steel and metal just all over him. He's just very, very, very beefy. Gone are the typical sort of wings and spikes and like things that stick off of him, and instead he's very, very round and like covered in black, which we don't really see too many black armors really. Not until we go to the next one, but that's besides the point. You don't see much black on that, because normally X is always in like red, yellow, blue, and white primarily. You know, those are like the hero colors, like the Gundam-esque colors. So these are very interesting in that he's mostly black and white here, aside from a little bit of blue. You know, in key points of the armor to keep him looking like Mega Man.
Right. Even the extra gems are really small, like his knees and on his belt buckle.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that was a gem on the belt buckle. That's interesting. I just thought that was like a stripe of green. I didn't realize it was like a gem. But yeah, they're all very like deep set into the, as if they too are protected by the metal. Yeah. You know, like they need to be pushed in deep for some reason, you know, to protect them for whatever function they might serve, you know?
Yeah.
It's just really cool looking. You know, the only thing I think I changed now that you're talking about the gems is right on the wrist. Do you see how he's got that round black thing right on the, like where the wrist would be above his arm?
Yeah.
I would make that a gem. Just make that a green gem on the tip of the wrist.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
That working.
Other than that, I really do love the design that he's got going on here. It's just super cool, very thick, very welded and bolted into place. It's just super industrial, you know? It's just neat.
Yes. You were saying how the armors are normally white. Like, there's a really good amount of white, like the underside of the Buster and stuff. Like, it looks like it was a normal X armor, and then it had, like, this, like, gunmetal, like, colored stuff just put on him for extra defense.
Very tough. You know, exactly. The black parts are definitely the armored parts, so to speak, that are kind of slapped on top of the white parts here. And I just think that's super, super cool. It's also the only armor that I know of that gives him pecs, like actual, like you know how General has giant metal pecs and they too have rivets in them. This is what X has. X has pectorals now that are riveted onto him.
He is the strongest boy, and he wants to let you know.
Yeah, exactly. X is jacked. He's like I was a pacifist, but. You know, which is kind of ironic because this is a very defensive armor. This armor has the highest defense out of any armor in the game, I believe. I need to do some rough conversions and see, like, how it stacks up against the X3 Hyperchip armor when you get the force field activated. Because I know that provides, like, a 75% damage reduction. So this is either the same or more. I'm not sure. But you basically take no damage in this. You are a very tanky boy when you have this armor on.
Spikes can't even kill you.
Yeah, that's true. Its big selling point was that you can stand on spikes, and it will not even kill you. You just walk right on top of them, like, I don't care. In fact, the spikes take damage from you walking on them. They're like, ow, ooh, oh, jeez, X, you waste so much in this.
Oh, and now I get it. Oh, jeez, stop.
Jeez, I'm sorry. So yeah, the biggest plus is that you're basically invulnerable when you're wearing this armor. You take virtually no damage. Everything is laughably reduced to like 1 damage per hit, no matter what it is. But the drawbacks, unfortunately for me, kind of detract from this armor and its usefulness, which is that yes, you are virtually indestructible, but you're also incredibly slow, and you also lack offensive capabilities.
Oh,
now,
yeah, your shots go like a foot in front of you.
Yeah, they barely go anywhere. The shots it's basically shotgun mode, which if the shots spread out when you shot it, like, I'd be like, okay, I get it, that's cool. But no, all of your shots are medium shots, but they go only like a few feet in front of you before dissipating, and if you do a charge shot, it's the same thing. It only goes to like, it doesn't even make it all the way across the screen. If you're in the middle, it goes about like 3/4 of the way across the screen from where you're standing. And the regular shots go even less than that, which is unfortunate because it deals massive damage, apparently.
It does massive damage, and it charges super quick.
Yeah,
like,
it charges super
immediately
quick.
Charged all the way.
Which, you know, it sounds like a nice trade-off, but honestly, not being able to hit stuff from, like, where you want is kind of a pain. Maybe I just haven't played it enough, but this is definitely an armor that is more like a melee class, which, at that point, I would have preferred it if, like, you just let X punch instead of shooting. I would have been like, alright, I get it. Now this armor turns you into, like, a beefier version of Zero.
Energy punches.
Yeah, speaking of energy punches, its Giga attack has unique animations, which I thought was super cool. And that's what made me love this Giga attack that it comes with, but it is ultimately a pretty useless attack.
It looks cool.
It looks cool. X basically does Chun-Li's Super Kikoken move, where he raises his arms above his head, pulls them, like, swings them all the way back around, like Kamehameha style, and then pushes both arms forward and creates, like, a gigantic ball of energy that, like, somewhat engulfs him. And it deals massive damage into a very small radius around where his hands are. It doesn't cover you entirely, it just kind of goes in front of you. And I don't believe you can even use it in the air, so you're very limited in where you can use this thing.
Yeah. It's basically the exact opposite of the Falcon armor one that mostly covers the whole screen.
Yeah, the Falcon armor is a lot of smaller damage spreading across the entire screen, whereas the Gaea armor is a whole bunch of damage, but in one concentrated spot. But again, the shortcomings of this armor is that I think they handicapped it too much and made it not useful.
Yeah, well, my biggest gripe with it, and it's something we've touched on, pretty good while ago, but you don't get it until you've beaten all 8 stages, basically, unless you get the Falcon armor die out of the stages. It's possible, but you need the Falcon armor to get the Gaea armor, and you have to have all 4 parts for it to work. So you can't even use it throughout the majority of the game. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, X5 needed a New Game Plus where you could just start with all the armors.
Yeah, definitely something like that. Or just switch which armors you get in which stages. Mix it up a little bit.
Or just make it where you don't need the Falcon armor to get the Gaea armor, so then if you want to start Gaea side, then go Gaea side.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, hindsight and all that.
Yeah, well, exactly. Hindsight is 20/20.
Maybe they thought it was too powerful, because spikes can't kill you. And,
which is dumb, though, because there's not that many places where the spikes are even, presented.
Yeah, just in optional areas to get special items.
I literally only ever used the anti-spike capabilities of the Gaea armor specifically to get heart tanks. That's it. That's literally all I used it for, was to get everything, because, when I was a kid, I wanted to 100% everything like I did on, on Super Nintendo.
Right.
So, I mean, that's it. I think ways that I would improve this armor, just because of how beefy and, thick he looks, I would just make it so that instead of, if you want to give it the ability to be really slow and whatnot, that implies that it's heavy, which is what I think they were going for. Make it so that your jumps are an attack. Make it so that you can land on enemies and, stomp on them or something like that. And that would make putting in the additional mobility to get places worth it. It's this thing is slow and chunky and whatever, but you have more ways of defeating enemies than just using your pitiful short-range attacks. Or the dash. The dash could have easily have been a shoulder ram.
It already puts a little energy around you.
Yeah, it puts an energy thing around you, and I always wondered why it does that, because you don't go anywhere. It's a short-range dash, and it's very slow.
I think it's because you can push blocks with it, and it just wanted to visually show you that you can do something with it.
In that case, though, it definitely should have done damage.
Yeah, it should have done damage, because
it uses the same aura as the Falcon armor when you do it. When the Falcon armor flies, that same aura appears on the Gaea armor. So that in my head made me think as a kid, I can dash into enemies and hurt them, or at least that would have been a neat thing to discover, on your own through playing. But no, that's not the case at all, which is unfortunate, because like I said, this armor just needs a little bit more functionality to be useful. If you want to give it the gimpy, crappy short-range buster shots, give it a stomp or a dash, like a shoulder ram. I think that would make it worth the drawbacks, because then you have more things you can do with it, and at the very least it's more fun. But meanwhile, you have the Falcon armor that's just cruising around, just look at me, I'm super awesome, I can go anywhere I want on the screen, nothing can touch you. It's just kind of you have one armor that's too powerful and one armor that's just not powerful enough.
But it's funny, because aesthetically and just even hearing about it, you would think that it'd be the opposite armors. You'd think the Falcon one would be the one that's, just kind of useful. And then the Gaea one would be
fly.
Yeah,
okay.
That one's the go-to. It's super strong, but it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, too, because the Falcon armor is designed more like a traditional armor that we've seen in, the previous 4 entries. It looks like it lines right up with the typical Gundam-esque armors that we've seen. Yes. So it's strange that the Gaea armor comes out of nowhere, and it's just here's this big, bulky, Leonardo da Vinci designed armor over here. He bolted X into a bunch of iron and just called it an armor here, It's weird that this shows up as a juxtaposition to the Falcon armor, and it's just not as useful. I feel like it was definitely some preferential treatment, and I would have preferred it if the Gaea armor just wasn't in the game, Like, and I don't mean to say that as in, like, I don't like it. What I mean is I'm disappointed because by comparison, the Gaea armor sucks. I would have rather they just didn't put it in this game and used it somewhere else, or just didn't use it so that I didn't have my dreams crushed, because I love this armor, but it's basically not worth it, you know?
Yeah, because, like, design-wise, idea-wise, it's super cool.
Oh, yeah. You know, speaking of design-wise, I use my sense and skill with the Mega Armor Series model kits. And my favorite thing that I did was I took my Swordman model kit, which has like a very long sword handle, which is supposed to go into his arm. But it is also the perfect size to fit into the hands of the other characters. So I took the Gaea armor and I gave it the Swordman sword, and they fit together perfectly, and it turns X into like a medieval knight, and it's just so cool looking.
Got a shield buster and a sword. You gotta send me a picture of that if you haven't.
If I can find a picture of it, I'll show you. But right now, I know for a fact he's boxed up somewhere and put away. But yeah, I used to love doing that. The Gaea armor holding Swordman's big metal clunky sword, it looks so good. Like, it looks like they were meant to go together. Mm-hmm. You know, it turns X into this, like, you know, old school kind of knight thing, and I don't know, it just works. It just works. It looks great. I love it. So
X over here.
Yeah, exactly. So my biggest gripe with the Gaea armor isn't its shortcomings; it's just the missed potential. It doesn't. It's not like it just doesn't feel like a fully realized armor, and that's the part that sucks. Is that it could be so good, and it's just not used very well. If anyone out there is making any fan games, Mega Man X Engine or X++, or anyone there who's making the different armors for X in your fan games, please, if you can, I'm giving you full license, incorporate some of these ideas or something. The Gaea armor, as it exists in X5, is so much missed potential, but if you were to just give it a little bit of a boost in the fact that it can, you know, dash into enemies or stomp on them or something, that would make it just that much more useful, and you might actually have a reason to use it, other than just a gimmick run.
It just needs some TLC.
So that's my thoughts on it. I love the Gaea armor, though. It's so good. So cool looking, but yeah, missed potential.
I really want to do a playthrough of X5, like, just with the Gaea armor, like, somehow start with it. And
yeah, just probably Game Shark it or something.
Right, yeah. But just to see how it feels, you know, going all the way through with this armor, and see if it, you know, like, maybe there's something I'm missing, because
maybe it is overpowered and we don't know.
Yeah, because the way that I play, I use it in the second virus stage. And that's it.
Yeah, I've heard that it's really good for that, because it basically makes the boss a joke.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It can't use any weapons. That sucks.
No. But in the early builds of the game, it either could, or it just wasn't dummied out yet, because it's got the other color schemes, like, they're in the game.
Yeah, that's super neat, just to see the different colors applied to the Gaea armor. I just think the armors are a fun way of seeing what X could look like in different color schemes. Just all of it is really, I don't know, man. This is a lot of missed potential. It just makes me depressed. I just love this armor so much. I want to see it come back one day and just be really good, you know?
Yeah.
Or at least be fun.
Well, you know what? Maybe they'll add it in Dive and give it some really cool characteristics.
I hope so. I think that would be cool. If it's Giga Crush covered a little bit of a bigger area, I think that would be better. Like, I want the ball to at least cover you, because it doesn't in X5. It's not big enough for that. And so if it was just big enough to cover, like, your whole body, I think that would protect you better, because then at least things can't run into you from behind and interrupt it and, like, make it worthless.
Right.
And you should be able to use it in the air, I think, which I don't believe you could in X5, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't played with the Gaea armor in forever. But make the ball bigger if X-Dive takes it. That would be cool. And yeah, give it, like, I don't know, some kind of... Like, give it a tackle. If you dash into people, it should hurt. I think that if you got hit by X wearing all of this armor and he dashes into you, you should be on your ass.
Yeah, for sure.
It just feels that way.
Well, speaking of dive, they did sort of use that buster as a weapon.
Yeah, it's true.
It's, I didn't even notice it was the Gaea buster until I think I had it pointed out to me, just because the colors are different and stuff, but it's got the cool little shield thing in the front. And, this one shoots poison, and, like you said earlier, you wanted the buster to split the shotgun style, and that's actually what this one does. So maybe...
Oh, well, there you go.
Maybe they're reading your mind.
Exactly. I figured if it's gonna be a short-range buster, you should make it spread. I think that's fair. And I think I only realized it as we sat down to have this conversation. The reason why it's the biochemical buster, or whatever it's called, is because all of the shots of the Gaea armor and all the energy that it lets off when you dash or shoot or do charge shots or the Giga, whatever, it's this weird black and green color. It's very, like, poison looking, you know? It's kind of strange. Never thought about that. So I feel like that's why they made this buster like a poison buster, because the shots do look kind of poisonous. Now there's an idea. If you wanted to make the shots short range, maybe if you hit someone with it, over time it deals damage like poison. That would make the buster shots useful again, because they're not just short range buster shots. Now you can tag an enemy and just stay away from them as they slowly melt away or something, like it's acid or something. I don't know. There's a lot of things they could do to fix it, but Dive did seem to acknowledge this green color scheme with it by making it the way that it is. It's like a hollow buster with like a glass on it something.
Well, you gotta see the energy inside.
Yeah, exactly. How do you know that it's a biochemical buster if you don't see the green glowing energy particles? I don't know. I think my favorite part of this armor, just my closing thoughts on the whole thing, I really like X's pectorals. I think it's cool they gave him like big beefy chest. I think that's cool. I love these straight lines all up and down the arms and legs they look like metal strips that have been riveted onto him, especially the one that goes up and down the buster. The buster looks very heavy, and I feel like X could do better damage at just hitting stuff with the back of it. You know, just like you're getting hit with like this big metal stick basically on the back of his arm. I think that's super cool. I think X looks very menacing and very powerful with those cool straight lines and the rivets going up and down them. And I really like the helmet. Something about the helmet is just a cool design. Very thick helmet. It looks like he could bust stuff with his head. Very safety oriented. If this armor was an X1, it could absolutely bust rocks with his head.
If he could jump high enough to...
If he could jump high enough, that's the problem. He's very good at falling, though.
Yeah. Just fall head first, then break through the floor. Find brand new
perfect.
paths.
This is exactly the logic. This is what we need in a Mega Man game. Diving headfirst into enemies. I don't see why there's a problem with that. It makes sense. Think smarter, not harder.
There you go.
Or work harder, not... Whatever. Clearly I'm not thinking hard enough. Yeah, so that's my closing thoughts. Anything else you got to say about it?
The feet look cool, and the underwear stripe was pretty cool.
It's almost Art Deco-ish. You know, the way it's like multiple layers of flat things. He looks like a I don't know, like an Art Deco architecture put into an armor. It's very cool.
Yep. Just lots of armor panels. Protect his tootsies.
Yeah, exactly. From those spikes.
Yep. Oh, there we go. We figured it out.
Exactly. That's how it goes.
But, yeah, that's the Gaea armor. If anyone out there loves this armor, as far as gameplay-wise, tell us why we're wrong, because maybe there's something we're completely missing.
Yeah, I would love to be wrong about this armor, because I love the design so much, and I love it. When I was a kid, I was very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Contrarian about the Falcon armor, because all my friends were like, the Falcon armor's the coolest, you know, and I'm like, yeah, but the Gaea armor, no, the Falcon armor's the best, you know, and it's just like, you can never get a word in edgewise, because they see, you know, wings and jets, and they're like, that's it, it's the best. So I always wanted the Gaea armor to somehow win in some category. But yeah, I just couldn't find a way to make it useful, unfortunately. So if anyone in the comments can tell me how the Gaea armor is useful outside of a few key moments in the game, such as the virus stage, please let me know, because I want to play through X5 and I want to love the Gaea armor.
Yeah.
And just I want to feel as overpowered as I do when using the Falcon armor.
I want to feel as overpowered as it looks.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Equip that armor and just start damage boosting through enemies, and I think you will feel it.
That's a good idea.
I mean, that's what I did once, the last time I played. I'm like, wow, this really, I've barely taken any damage.
Gaea Armor Pacifist Run.
Yeah, Gaea Armor, that's a good idea. Gaea Armor Pacifist Run. Only kill bosses when you need to. Which, in X5, is none, so you don't have to kill any of the bosses until you get to the virus stages.
Yeah, there you go. You just gotta...
There you go.
Probably sacrifice 0, and that's it.
Probably. Well, I mean, you could do everything right in X5 and still lose 0, so...
Yeah.
That always bothered me. I really wish they changed the RNG and how it works, but what am I going to do? We're getting into an entire X5 revision at that point, so...
Yeah. That's for a different time. I feel like we can come up with something really good. Aside from your excellent revision of the X series.
Oh, why thank you. I do appreciate you saying that. I
enjoyed it a lot.
I had a lot of time to think about it, so...
Alright, everybody. Yeah, let us know what you think about the Gaea armor. Tell us why we're wrong, or why we're right.
Yeah, let us know. What's your favorite part? What's your favorite design element? What is your favorite power of the Gaea armor? And just let us know down below. And I guess we will see you in the next one.
Yep. Take it easy.
Take care.